Come to part 8 of our library management system. So now we're working with the main method. So let's go to File, New, C++ Source, go, click on Next. This one will name it the main, since now we're working on our main method. Still save it under library management system. We save. Okay, let's replace it. Yes, select all and then finish. Okay, now the main program file for the library management system is this main.cspp file. This is the entry point of the entire program where execution begins. Think of this as like the front desk where users interact with the library. So we'll have the include IO string for console input and output. Also will include memory for our smart pointers. Input the memory for our unique pointers and smart pointers. Also include the limits. This one is to clear the buffer. The include buffer. The input buffer, I mean. Also include the library manager header file. Which is the main library manager class. Also include the book. This is the book class definition. Also include the magazine. Which is the magazine class definition. So now we have to display the menu of our program. The purpose is because it shows the main menu options to the user. This is like a restaurant in the menu. It tells us what the user can do. So this is going to be displayed or called every time the program loops before asking for user input, and then it's going to return nothing. So the output will include the option to add a book, to add a magazine into session item. So we're going to have an return function avoid. This we call it the display menu. Display menu method, and then our method will include an std cout library management system. So whenever we start this program, this will also be displayed library in the management system. Then we'll jump onto a new line. So the first option we'll get std cout. Option 1 would be to add book. Skip to a new line. std cout let's just remove the space so it can be perfectly aligned. Option 2 is to add magazine. Okay, so let's skip to a new line. STD, layout, option 3 is a search for item. Option 4 is STD, layout, borrow item, STD, layout, to return item. Option 6 is STD, layout, display all items. Option 7 is STD, layout, just to exit. Okay, now the last option is STD, layout. Now we want the user to enter the choice, so we just say enter a choice. So now let's have a function named add book. The purpose is to collect book information from the user and adds it to the library. So how it's going to work is it's going to ask the user for the title, the author, the ID, and genre. And then it's going to create a new book object with that information, and then it adds it to the library manager. So the parameter for this book function will be the manager. And then we use a reference to the library manager of the library system. It's going to be passed by the reference, so we can modify the original object. So it can modify the original object. So let's have this function. It's void. It's an understanding function, so it's void add book library manage. We'll call this library manager. It's a reference manager. So for this function, we're going to have a variable to store user data or user input. So it's std string title author ID genre. So now to get the book title, we're going to say std layout prompt user to enter book title. We close the code. Okay, and then we're gonna have this line now to clear leftover new line from previous input. So we're going to have an std cin.ignore. We'll use the cin.ignore function. And then to read the entire line and allow space in the title, we're going to use the std get line. Std cin, so std cin the titles. In case the title has a space, because we'll be able to enter the whole name. An example would be the Hobbit. If the title of the book was the Hobbit, because we'll be able to enter the whole thing. And then to get the name of the author, we'll have an std cout. We shall say enter author name. So to enter the author's name, we have an std. Again, we'll call our getLine function. Getlines std cin author. Then next to get the unique unique ID for the book and or magazine is std cout. Let's prompt the user to enter the ID. Enter ID. So it's std to get the ID, std get line. Std cin ID. Then to get the genre of the book or the magazine is std cout. Enter the genre. Enter genre. Okay, an std get line. With parameters std cin genre. Okay, now we want to create a new book and add it to the library. So we're going to say about our smart pointers. And the advantage of the smart pointers, they also manage the memory, so there's no need to worry about delete. It handles itself. So for the smart pointer, we'll have manager dot add item. And our parameters std make unique. This is our unique point. Make unique This is our smart point. Unique for the book. So it's only unique for the book, which is the title, author, ID, genre. Now it's STD. Now let's move to STDC out. We want to display a message to the user, so we just say book added successfully. Then move on to a new line. Now we're going to have another function, the add magazine function. So the purpose of this add magazine, it collects the magazine information from the user and adds it to the library. So it's similar to add book, but for magazine, it's going to have an issue number. So you need to remember that in magazine it's a periodic publication. And another important thing, the issue number is an integer, not a string, so we still have to convert it. So now let's have this function. It's a determine function, so it's void add magazine library manager. Reference manager. So we have an std string title author ID. So these are string variables for the text input. Then we also have an int issue number. So this is the integer for the issue number. So to get the magazine title, it's std cout enter magazine title std cin dot. We're going to use the cin dot ignore to clear our path. Ignore function. It clears the buffer before the get line. So we have an std get line std cin the title. So now to get the publisher or editor, std cout enter author. std get line to make sure it's on the same. std cin author and then to get the unique ID, it's std cout enter ID. Go to std cout So this is the std get line. So the standard cin ID. These are our parameters ID. So to get the issue number, remember the issue number is an integer, so it's std cout. We prompt the user to enter issue number. That's std cin issue number. So there is no get line for integers or for numbers. So now to create and add the magazine, use the manager. Let's add item with our smart pointers std make unique. So the make unique array for magazine. The title, order, ID, issue number. std cout. We want to display a message to the user magazine added successfully. And move on to a new line. So now we want to have another item, another function which is going to be used to search. We're going to call this one the search item. So the purpose is searches for an item by its ID and displays it if found. It's going to ask the user for an ID. And then it's going to call the manager.search function, the search item function, to find it. If found, it displays the item information. If not found, it shows the error message. So we have a void search item. Library manager, reference to manager. So we have an std string ID. This is the ID for search. std cout. We prompt user to enter item ID to search. So std ignore to we're calling the ignore function to clear the path. So std get line std cin and the ID to read our ID. So now to search for for the item, it will return a pointer or a null pointer. So to search, we're going to have library item as a pointer, and then item. We'll assign it the manager dot search item for the ID. Okay, now so now we need an if statement. So if this item is not found, what happens? If item items points to display info to show the item details, else we have a C out in std cout item not found. So now let's move on to our next item, to borrow an item. So for the function to borrow an item, the purpose of this function, it borrows or checks out an item from the library. It's going to ask the user for the ID, tries to borrow it through the manager, and shows success of failure message. So for this function, it's going to be successful if item exists in the library. It's not already borrowed. If it's already borrowed, doesn't exist in the library, it's going to be a fail. So for this function, it's a void borrow item. Let's call the library. Library manager, it's a reference manager. std string id std cout enter item id to borrow. So std cin with the cin.ignore function. std cin id So now let's try to borrow this book. So we use an if statement. If manager dot borrow item using the ID std cout item not available or not found. No, you know what? Let's start with if item is found. So it's going to be if manager, report item ID. Let's see this out. Let's say item borrowed successfully. Borrowed successfully. Then there's an else part and else. So what happens if item is not available? So it's STDC out. Item not available or not found. So now let's look at the new function now to return the book. We'll call this one the return item. The purpose it checks in a borrowed item to the library. So again, how it's gonna work? It's gonna ask user for item ID, try to return it to the manager, and then show success or failure message. If it already exists in the library, was currently borrowed, it's supposed to show a success. But if it doesn't exist, or it was never borrowed or already available, it's going to show a fail. So let's have this new function, void return item. Let's call it a return item. Library manager. Reference manager. That's std string ID. Std cout. Enter item ID to return. So it's now you're returning the book or the magazine. So std cin.ignore to clear our above. Std getLine. So std cin ID. So now let's try to return the book by using an if else statement. So if the manager dot return item by using our parameter ID, we're going to display a message as stdc out. stdc out. We're going to display a message now to say item returned successfully. we're gonna have an else statement, else std cout item not found or wasn't borrowed. And move on to a new line. So now next we're going to have our main function. The purpose, this is the entry point of the entire program. This is where execution starts and when you run this program. So how this program is going to flow, we're going to create a library manager object, automatically load save date. Then it's going to display the main and get user choice in a loop. Going to perform the chosen action. It will repeat until user chooses option 7, and option 7 will be our exit. This is when the program will end. Our library manager destructor will automatically save all the state. Okay, we're going to have a do while loop, and then the function of this do while loop is going to ensure the main shows at least once. So the program is going to keep running until we get to exit. So let's have our int main function. So I can have the library manager. This creates the library system. It loads the existing date. Well, that's what line 96 will do. Then declare integer choice, which is the user's main choice. We said we're going to have a do while loop, so do display menu, or just telling our program to display the main. It should be display to display the menu. So now for the user to add the choice, we have an std cin choice to get the user choice. So now to handle the user choice, we're going to have a switch statement. So switch using the choice from the user, so it's switch choice. So let's look at of our possible scenario. So it's case 1. The user wants to add a book, so to add book manager. Then we break, but then we're only breaking out of the switch. We're not breaking out of the loop, but still under the do. We're still under this do while loop, so only breaking out of this switch statement. Let me just put a space so you can see clearly. We're only breaking out of the switch statement, so let's break. Then case 2. We want to add a magazine. Let me just put a space also. Add magazine manager. Also want to break out of the switch, not the loop. Case 3. Case 2, we want to search an item manager, then you break case 4. Case 4. So for case 4, we want to borrow the item from manager. Then you break case 5. So for case 5, we want to return item manager break. And for case 6, the manager we're gonna call our display all item function. So it's the manager dot display all items. Then we're going to break out. Then case 7. So for case 7, we want to break out of this loop. So it's std cout, then we're exiting. Now we move on to the new line. We're going to break. And as you guys are aware, there's always a default case for switch statement. So now for our default, so if someone enters anything besides option 1 to 7, we want to display a message std cout invalid choice. Please try again. So before we finish up, we want to clean up our input data. So after using the std in choice, there's a new line left in the buffer. This can cause problems later on with our getDone function calls. So to clear our buffer, what we're going to do is just want to remove this space. So to clear our buffer is std cin. We call it our clear function. But the first part is this function is to clear any error flags. Then we call in the std. Say invert it now. Have an std. std numeric limits. std stream size. Just the maximum size. So we call it now our max function. And it's going to move to a new line. Okay, this is how we're going to clear our buffer. So this ignore part, it says that template constant for stream size, and then the stream size is the maximum number of characters. Then we're going to stop at the new line. That's why we have this n here. But guys, we must remember we're still within our do while loop. So this is all the do part from here. The do while. Now let's have the while part. While the choice is not equal to 7. Remember, we said 7 is to exit the loop. So as long as the user doesn't choose 7, we're gonna keep moving within the loop. So to indicate that our main loop is working fine, we have to return a 0. Return 0. So this return 0 part is just what return 0 to the operating system. It indicates a successful completion. So guys, this is the end of our library management system. So what you can do, you can just test it and see if it works, if there's any errors, and then hopefully you can fix them, and then you'll be able to run a program. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye.